Before this video presentation begins, I would like to thank all the collaborators who helped move it along. Mark Baker, Donald Russo, and amateur cameraman Brian Baker, as well as Mike Varity, Leon, and Leon's brother for being three of the most insightful trappers willing to share their knowledge with us at no cost. As most of us in the mosquito control community know, Castor canadensis, or the North American beaver, can cause some serious issues when it comes to the creation of mosquito habitat. For anyone unaware, beavers were nearly eradicated in New Jersey as late as 1900, but through reintroduction efforts and legislative protections, the beaver population of New Jersey continues to expand not just numerically, but geographically as well. Monmouth County, New Jersey is primarily considered by most to be a shore county, with the bulk of the residents living less than 20 minutes from the Atlantic Ocean. However, the western spur of Monmouth County stretches nearly to the Delaware River and is comprised of mostly rural and suburban neighborhoods with plenty of open waterways for adventurous beavers to practice their industry. And in recent years, this is exactly what they've done. As reports from the public about new beaver dams located within Monmouth County began to increase, those of us at the Monmouth County Mosquito Control Division were faced with a problem. For the past 110 years of mosquito control in Monmouth County, there has never been any formal or informal protocol to manage the mosquito habitat created when a beaver colony permanently floods a waterway. This lack of inherited knowledge meant our inspectors and biologists were going to have to attempt to figure out solutions by trial and error. Some of our first steps included basic surveillance of the identified beaver dams to determine the activity level, assessing what types of tools and manpower would be needed, and attempting to assess what the waterway would look like once restored to normal. Once these first steps were complete, and at the suggestion of several of our neighboring counties, we reached out to local trappers who had obtained beaver trapping permits encompassing the western portion of Monmouth County. We met with two separate tag holders in the field multiple times and gave them our collected locations in order for them to go about setting traps to remove any active beavers. The trappers were extremely knowledgeable and helpful. However, once the season had ended and we subsequently reached out to them, both informed us that although they had successfully filled their individual tags, neither had removed any beavers from our given location. Here we have an example of a site that met the criteria for us to attempt a basic remediation. First, the location was not private property. Second, there were no signs of current beaver activity. And third, although if necessary, heavy equipment could have been brought in via the Monmouth County Highway Department, this particular site was able to be remediated via hand tools. The goal of the particular remediation was to bring a man-made pond back to its original capacity by removing a large portion of the dam to restore consistent flow to the outlet structure. Luckily for us, the small grate on the main outlet structure was removable and ensured we would have steady drainage. And even more fortunate, there was a secondary outlet structure to handle the surge in water. After enduring some hand tool failures, which were resolved immediately due to the excellent planning of the crew, the section of the dam was removed slowly but surely, bit by bit. After a little trial and error, a few days of drainage, the capacity of the man-made pond dropped approximately 4 to 5 feet to hopefully what is close to the original capacity. Many of the choices and decisions about criteria and how to proceed were based on conversations with extra-county individuals far more familiar with beaver-related issues. This, along with our collective common sense, was the lodestone for what we hope will be a successful foray into beaver management in Monmouth County. As the coming season progresses, we will be investigating the outcome of these alterations and monitoring their success or failure. For the most part, these projects came together well and were finished with relatively few difficulties. A promising beginning for what will hopefully continue into the future. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone involved and would encourage anybody in the audience with critiques or friendly advice to see any one of us present in the video to discuss further ideas regarding beaver management. Thank you, and I hope everyone enjoyed the conference.